Okay, everybody, welcome to the Mastering the ICF Exam. Basically, how to prepare, how to pass, how to do the exam properly and powerfully. And I created this webinar and made this offer because I'm here to help coaches. I'm here to help you grow. And there's not a lot of clarity and clear support of how to pass the exam. Actually, I want to check in. Anybody here? I'm sure you either have taken the exam and either passed or did not pass. You've got an exam coming up, or you're just grabbing this because you know at some point you're going to need to take the exam and you better figure this out now. So somewhere I'm assuming, and maybe some of you are just like, you know what, I don't need to take the exam. I just want to learn. You're good. Wherever you are in that process, you're going to get tons from this. And what we're going to learn today is more than just passing the exam. It is actually about how to redesign how you look and how you approach and engage in your coaching. There's also, just raise your hands or thumbs up if you have like found other like practice exams or other people kind of walking you through how to exam. Anybody gone through that? Yeah, Ruby, Shrepad, Rod, yeah. They're out there, and by all means, they're not unhelpful. But what I've noticed is a lot of them aren't addressing some of the deeper issues and some of the problems that occur in the exam. So I'm going to walk through. This is why this is the 90-minute webinar, because I'm going to walk through the problems of the exam. Because if you have that clarity and awareness, we do this in our coaching, right? Oh, well, if you've got awareness, now you can handle it. You can approach it in a different way. So that's where I want to break down why this is such a problem for coaches, and then we're going to train you on how to re-look and reevaluate and re-engage with your clients in a very different way, and engage with the exam in a very different way. Um, yeah, the exam prep, they give you questions and all that stuff. I can tell you, you're going to hear things and you're going to learn things that they did not tell you. And that's why I'm here, is to help you really learn how to approach the exam from a powerful way. Um, by the way, thank you all for like registering and signing up, and it's all free. This is all free for coaches. You will get a very limited amount of notifications and invitations if you haven't already, just pointing you to some of the other things that I offer that are free, all free for coaches. I've got a Facebook group where I'm posting powerful videos every week, every Monday. I just did one yesterday. That's all deep dive to insights and discoveries, talking about communicating cleanly. This last one, they're all free. Go and join the group. You'll get if you haven't already, you'll get an invitation in your email. Click it, join, sign up. It's free. There's also the Coaching Skills Forum calls, which I have been holding twice a month for. I am now in our 20th year of doing these calls. These are the longest running coach growing free events that are out there. And they are powerful recordings. If you can join the live ones, phenomenal. If you can't, you can access all of the recordings for free. Take them, learn, grow. They're all here to help you be stronger, better, more confident coaches. And you'll get an invitation for that in the email. And all of this is also at my website. That free membership, which I'm not forcing you to join anything. Just by signing up this, you're now hooked on this big list. No, but you're going to get notifications. After the notifications, a few pop up, you're not going to get anything else. So take advantage of the invitations so you can get more incredible, powerful free stuff, not filler. It's all powerful stuff. Some of you here are familiar with all of that already, so thumbs up, thank you. And There's always more. I've got an advanced coach training program that I offer that is beyond anything else that's available. That's actually where part of this lesson is actually coming from, is the advanced coach training program, the Fast Path to Masterful Coaching, which is a level 3 training, but it's also available to any coach who is already trained and certified. So once you get your ACC, then come on in and you will learn amazing things. That's not free. There is a charge for that. But I can promise you, you will be on a journey that you will be 20-year coaches have joined this class and said this was the best thing they've ever done in their entire coaching journey. I'm very proud of it. But that's not why you're here. You're here to learn how to pass this ICF exam. So, welcome all to the coaches who are here. I'm so glad you are here. Oh, Van, Jane, Ashley, Kelly, I didn't get a chance to welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Michelle, I think I welcomed you. Deb, hello, hello. I think I got everybody else. Marilyn, there you are. That's right. You had your headset fixed. Okay. So let's first look at the exam itself. And a little brief history about ICF and why we have this exam. Kelly, I'm so glad you're here too. Okay, so way back in the day, I'm going to say it's roughly about mid-90s, early 90s, when actually around that time, I'm sorry, mid-80s, when coaching was starting to get discovered and created. And even then, the two main coach training organizations that were formed that designed and said, wow, there's this thing called coaching, and we need to get it out there and teach people how to do this. And they created two different organizations. They split because they already, at the very beginning, they had a difference of opinion as to some of the details and nuances about what coaching was and how we did it, right from the beginning. The first two could not agree and come to a consensus. And from that point on, all the other variations and hundreds of other coach trainings that are out there created their own versions of, well, this is what coaching really is. And everybody's all right to their own extent. But what they started to recognize was, oh my goodness, everybody's starting to bring in their own opinions about coaching, let alone the more it became more popular and more in our culture. Now we've got people who are just making up their own training and calling it coaching, or taking their method of how to work people through a process and calling it coaching, or just they have life experience and so then they call that coaching. By the way, does anybody here have life experience? Anybody? Because we need people with life experience. Yeah. Life experience does not. Everybody has life experience. Everybody does. 8 billion people have life experience. And that doesn't qualify people to be a coach. And it certainly doesn't make me an expert on how to help you through your life experience, just because I have mine. So coaching was starting to find its variations, and they realized we need an organization that's going to clarify and hold the integrity of the profession. And so that's where ICF was formed. And ICF said, oh my goodness, we're going to need to kind of set sort of a container and a set of guidelines that will establish and define this is coaching. And so they all worked really hard, and they debated and they discussed and explored, and they all came to a consensus. We've come up with these core competencies. Originally, they were 11. They got refined in 2000 to be a really tight, solid 8 core competencies. And the entire purpose of this is that if you're doing these 8 things, then you're doing coaching. And if you're not doing these 8 things, then you're doing something else: consulting, advising, training, mentoring, guiding, whatever it is, teaching. You're just not coaching. That's all that the core competencies are there to do, is just define this is coaching, this is not coaching. Simple. So then they created these three levels of credentialing: ACC, PCC, and MCC. And then they needed a way to evaluate. Oh my goodness, we need to now find a way to to declare what level each coach is in. Okay, we need to now witness their coaching. And that's where they realized, oh, we need some clearer parameters. And so if we look at the 8 core competencies, in actual truth, they are really unrecognizable. They're unrecognizable. Let's be honest. How can I tell right now that you all are present? I can't. I can hope you are. How can I tell you're all deeply listening? How can I tell that there's trust? How can I tell anything? I can't, just by what's here. So ICF, when they're listening or watching watching recordings, they needed to create a way of how to recognize that you, the coach, is listening, what your mindset is. How does anybody have any way of knowing what your mindset is? The only way is how you convey and present it. And that's where for PCC, the 37 markers were created. And then ACC has its own variations, but are similar, and MCC has theirs. All these performance markers is really simply, these are what they are looking for so that they know you're doing the 8 core competencies. The coach asks the client. The coach partners with the client. The coach does this to and with and for the client. That's all that these are performance markers. And if you look at the either approval or rejection that comes with an exam, all that they will say is, I observed the coach at this time marker doing this core competency. I observed the coach listening deeply with competency, 6.2 or whatever it is. So it's how are they observing or not observing, by how are you presenting and displaying your coaching competencies and skills. So that's all. Now, so that's all that and then they said we need an exam that also shows your intellectual capacity and knowledge and understanding of coaching, because there can be people who can kind of put on a good show and do a great job, but they really don't know what they're doing. And so they came up with this written exam that was basically simply, how well do you intellectually grasp coaching? And so now this is how anybody, by the way, this is not exclusive to just ICF. Any profession has an intellectual expression of the knowledge, law, medicine, any type of profession, that you're going to have to display your intellectual understanding of the profession. And you're going to have to do some type of display of skill and performance of how you are in the execution of it. Any profession. Same true with ICF. So these two, written and presenting your recordings, are not different really than anybody else. However, this brings in some challenges. The performance and the recordings, that's another time. By the way, I listen to and I evaluate and I help grow coaches through listening recordings. If you want or need any help with that, contact me directly and we can set up. I've got easy, affordable packages and all of that, but I promise you, you will get insight and evaluation that you will not get anywhere else. And you will get either perfect calls that will absolutely pass, or you will get absolute clarity as to what's getting in the way, especially based on what we're going to talk about, and how to get stronger, better, faster in your calls so you can get those recordings much more easily. That's a different topic. But the written comes with various problems. First off, It's an intellectual grasping of coaching. And every single moment of your coach training has been working really hard to get you to stop intellectually processing and assessing your coaching. Because that's the thing that's getting in the way of you being a beautiful, amazing, wonderful coach. Is all the, okay, I need to think about this and I need to concentrate and consider and contemplate and what's the best thing I should do and all this stuff. All that stuff is what gets in the way of you doing the beautiful coaching. So all your training keeps kind of getting you out of that mode, and now the exam is pulling you back in. Crazy, isn't it? Now it's forcing you to think intellectually and assessing your coaching when all of your training and experience is working to not do that. It's contradictory in its design. It's not ICF's fault. This is just the fault of the design or the flaw. The other problem is that it's focusing on problems, and our humans, we just love to, when we're not brilliant coaches, we just love to solve problems. And so when you look at the ICF exam, you see a case study or a problem, and that instantly activates our problem solver. Ooh, it's a problem I get to solve, hooray! But in that case study are all the details that make it not an easy problem to solve. Because if it was easy, everybody would be passing with no problem. So it's complex and confusing, and it's contradictory, and it's got iffy issues. And so all that does is it activates our thinker and our evaluator and our assessor even more when that's not coaching. And all those details easily hijack us. Now, pause on the exam. Notice that's what happens in our coaching. Our clients keep bringing in all of their case studies, stories, problems. They're complex, multi-layered, intertwined, very confusing, very difficult, and they can be very seductive, and that kills coaching, right? Oh, wait, coach, but I need to tell you all these other details. And then that gets in the way and makes our coaching harder. And so in coaching, what we typically do is we bottom line, we kind of get to the point, what's the crystal thing, what's the detail, what's the specific part, what is it that you really want to know, great, all those details, but what's happening right now, all of those things so that we don't get consumed and overwhelmed by the details of the story. We actually have in our coaching skill sets ways of cutting through, circumnavigating, and buffering against the seduction of the story. And that's how we're able to stay in powerful coaching. That's in coaching. But now we got this exam that's giving you story and details that are just seductive. Now, even more problems are built into the system. Again, not ICF's fault. It's just the nature of the beast. So we've got a story, case study, whatever it is, and then you've got 4 options to choose from. Now, everybody has to select what is your best option, which is actually relatively easy. It's going to be made a whole lot easier if you're going for your ACC. This is all you need to worry about. If you're going for your PCC or MCC, don't worry, I got you covered. That comes later. But finding and identifying the best answer, the best option, is often pretty easy to spot because that's what all your training is about, is making sure that your skill sets are in alignment with the core competencies. So usually, maybe a couple of exceptions here and there, but usually finding the best answer is really simply, is this particular one in alignment with the core competencies? But we're going to get into that even more about how to evaluate. But for those going, and ICF changed this slightly recently, so now if you have to If you get to take the revised version where all you need to do is just get the best answer, great. Don't worry, stick around because there's so much more. If you are still PCCs or MCCs, or if you still are taking the one where you need to select the worst answer, let me tell you why everybody's freaking out about this. Because again, it's problems built in the system. It's not entirely ICF's fault. Because you have to identify the worst answer out of the four, the worst response. And there's not a single moment, while all of your training has been guiding you to what is the best answer, there's not a single moment of your coach training ever that focused on the worst thing you could do. That was never a topic or an issue or a question or a focus. You never had to look at what you would look at what doesn't work as a coach. Okay, don't do that. That doesn't work. But never, this is the worst thing you could do, coach. There was never that inner training. And in fact, that is never a question that you even ask your clients. We never focus on the worst action. To be clear, we can look at with our clients what's the worst that can happen. With that, we're tapping into their imagination, they're making up, they're predicting, and all of that stuff. That's what we're working through. But we don't talk about what's the worst action you can do. We can talk about what things might work, what things clearly do not work. But of those things that do not work, we never give attention with our clients to what's the worst one, because it doesn't matter. Coaching is all about what does work. How do you move forward? How do you create? What is the direction you want to go? Not only that, there is not a single test or exam that you have taken since the beginning of your test-taking life that ever asked you, what's the worst answer? I'll give you an example. What is 1 plus 2? Is it, you have 4 options, 5, 3, 2024, or pink fuzzy bunnies? Which one is the worst answer? Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So this is part of the struggle, is that coaches don't know how to identify the worst answer, because we've never had that in our training, we've never had that in our coaching experience, and we've never had that in our lives. And now ICF is asking us this question. This is why coaches are freaking out, and why coaches are failing, because we don't know how to identify that answer properly and powerfully. Until now. That's why you're all here. Truly. So that's all the nature of the design that's making this hard and frustrating and challenging for coaches. Is finding the best answer, not so difficult. Finding the worst answer, oh crap. Okay. Making sense to everybody so far? I'm just really ripping through this fast, down and dirty, but this is what you're stepping into. And if you know other coaches who are freaking out, I'm doing this again tomorrow afternoon, tell them, get here. These recordings will be on my website for free members. Join that for membership. Also on my Facebook group, join that for free. So if they miss this, tell them, because there's more to come. I'm not done. But this is just the design of the exam. And so that's why we have problems. Now, I just got done saying how ridiculously idiotic the worst answer option is, and why ICF had to do that. I don't know. Somebody thought it was a great idea and championed it, and other people creating the exam said, yes, let's do that. Let's freak out a bunch of coaches and ask them to do something that is against their entire programming. However, now that I just bashed it, I'm going to now advocate and support it, because I think I understand why this was brought in. Because remember, ICF is working hard to make sure there's a clear, clean container and design of this is coaching, this is not coaching. And so I think that that's what this worst answer is attempting to define, is that clean line. This is coaching. Yeah, this is kind of gray area here, but this is definitely not coaching. You might be able to get away with these other things, maybe, but definitely not this. So I think that's why they created that worst answer option. So, fact of the matter is, if it's part of your exam, then we have to figure out how to handle it. And again, that's why we're here, is how to identify the best answer easily, how to identify the worst option easily. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. We could do it, by the way, I'm sorry, we could do it the hard way. Anybody want to do it the hard way or the easy way? What do we want? Easy? Okay. We'll go with the easy way. We'll save the hard way for another webinar. Come next week. We'll do it. I'll teach you all about how to do it the hard way. So, okay. So that's all the basic design issues and problems of what coaching, of what the ICF exam brings along and how we have to deal with it. So let's start learning how to deal with it. So I'm going to first do a bit of training here, so we can learn this model and design, and then we're going to apply it to this to the exam. So you'll probably start getting, you may start already figuring out, oh, I see how this applies. Don't worry, if you don't, it'll all happen. Okay, so first, I want to share with you this core of our coaching. This is the core 3 principles of our training. This is in the advanced coach the advanced coach training program that I mentioned. This is part of lesson 1 that I teach. This is also when I'm mentoring. This is the first thing that I teach any coach, because it completely redesigns. And I'm going to set this up mainly to set the expectation and the outcome, but also I've had so many coaches go, oh my goodness, this makes my coaching so much easier. So that's part of why I'm teaching. This is not just the exam itself, it's how to make your coaching easier and deeper and stronger and richer. And how does this then help with the exam? It makes the exam so much easier. The simplicity is this, remember, we've got all the markers, the performance markers of all the core competencies. And when I'm evaluating and listening to recordings, I can tell you right now, 37 markers and performance displays, that's a lot to keep track of. Oh my goodness, did they do this? Did they do that? Did they do 6.3? Did they do 4.1? Did they do 9.9? Well, there is no 9 anymore. So paying attention to all those markers is dizzying for any evaluator. And by the way, even just paying attention to all 8 core competencies throughout an entire recording is exhausting. Oh, are they evoking? Is there trust? How's their mindset? What's going on here? Oh, how's the agreement? Is there actions? Is there awareness? Is there listening? Is there present? So paying attention to all that stuff is just exhausting as well. I don't like doing it the hard way. I like doing it the easy way. And so what I discovered over the years of mentoring and growing and training coaches is it all comes down to these 3 principles. If we are doing these 3 principles, then we are doing powerful, beautiful, amazing coaching. If we're not doing these 3 principles, then we're doing something else. Teaching, training, consulting, advising, mentoring, something. We're just not coaching. Notice the same is true when we talk about the 8 core competencies, because each of these 3 principles actually appears in all 8 of the core competencies. And Each of the 8 core competencies cannot exist without these 3 principles. So, if you're doing these 3 principles, you're doing these 8 core competencies, you're doing all 37 markers easily and naturally. It doesn't absolve us from having clear training. You have to have training and skills of the 8 core competencies, but then pay attention to only these 3 principles, and they will unlock and open up and make available the 8 core competencies. This is all going to make sense in just a few minutes. These principles are not, when I describe them to you, the labels themselves are not going to be anything mind-blowing and new. You have heard all these words before, but they've all been more likely on kind of the fringe of coaching. What we're going to do is we're going to take and put them right front and center. Everything you do is going through these core principles. If you're doing these and you're doing your coaching through these principles, everything runs smoothly. Also, let's make it easy. The first letter of each of these principles spells out the word core. Easy to remember. I know, 4 letters, 3 principles. It'll make sense. So let's start learning what we're talking about. Okay. The CO, see, they're together. The CO stands for connection. We must have connection in our coaching. If we do not have connection, coaching ceases to exist in that moment. Now, connection shows up in many, many, many ways. There's, first off, the obvious level of connection. I need to be able to see you or hear you or something, some means of how we're going to be able to communicate. If I suddenly right. I did that on purpose. Or if I lose that, now you can't see me. So if I lose that connection there, obviously I can't coach. But in coaching, we're talking about more than just that. We're talking about connecting on a deeper level, connecting to the client, to their agenda, their topic, their wants, their desires, connecting to what we were going to talk about today and what do you want by the end of this, connecting to their thoughts and their emotions and their beliefs and their body expressions and connecting to their ideas and their values and their dreams and their fears and connecting to the client in all these levels and layers. Because when we have connection, that's when we have relationship. That's where we have flow. That's where we have that receiving and giving, or listening and evoking awareness. We have presence, we have trust, we have all these things that are showing up in our competencies, and they cannot occur unless we have connection. When we're connected, all 8 of those core competencies show up. Don't take my word for it. Look at your own experience. All the hours and weeks and months and years of coaching that you've been doing this, however long or short, you know those times when you are connected with your client, everything just flows beautifully. And when you've lost connection gets lost for 1,000,001 reasons. On your end, you had, I just had these 4 questions come in all at once and I don't know which one to ask. Or, oh my goodness, how do I help this client? What am I going to do now? Or any type of internal distraction that's going on. Or, oh my goodness, I just remembered I got to pay this bill, or this thing popped up, or all these things that happen on your end easily pulls you away. Not to mention all the distractions and disconnections from the client's end that they're dealing with. So connection, it's not that connection must be there or else you're a loser. It just means connection must be there for coaching to flow powerfully. And when it is connected, when you are connected to your client, then you just keep feeding it, keep deepening it, keep growing it. And when you've lost connection for some reason, it's okay. It happens. I promise it happens hundreds of times in a single coaching session, and you're not even aware. But if we notice it, oh my goodness, we're not connecting at this moment. Then we just recognize it and reconnect, and now we're back in, and now that flow continues. But we're also talking about something else in connection. We get to go a little deeper. So I'm going to pause for a moment. We'll get back to connection in a second and the other two principles. But I need to tell you something. Each and every one of you on this webinar, and I'm going to tell you probably something that might be really hard to hear. And it might be and I'm going to tell you exactly what's wrong with you and why you're struggling as a coach and why all these problems are occurring in your coaching. I'm going to tell you exactly what your problem is. Unfortunately, and I'm sorry you have to hear it from me, but you got to hear it from somebody. Each and every one of you, including, by the way, those of you who might be listening to this recording later on, you too, you are all, unfortunately, human. I'm sorry. I know. We've just met. I've known some of you for a while. Others we've just met. What a horrible thing for me to say to you. Oh, you're human. What a horrible. Actually, it's not that bad. But what it's pointing to is something really important, because your human job, every single day of your life, your exclusive sole purpose is just to stay alive. That is all that your human job is from the day you were born, is just stay alive. Think about this. Before you were born, everything was safe, everything was perfect, everything was wonderful. You didn't have a worry or a care or a problem in the world. You were in a perfect room. You had the perfect sleeping accommodations. Everything was the perfect temperature. Everything was wonderful and comfortable. You had all the food you ever wanted coming to you. It was great. And then suddenly you got pushed through a tube and shoved out into a bright, cold sunlight, bright light and cold, and somebody's holding you and hitting you on the butt, and like, this is scary. And from that moment on, your brain went, oh crap, this is dangerous. I have to survive now. And from that moment on, every single moment of your life has been about surviving. And you've learned how to survive. You've learned how to walk and talk and do activities and learn and grow and get better at things in order to survive and stay alive. You've learned how to fix problems and avoid problems and prevent problems and anticipate problems and all these things about problems just to survive. You've also learned skills and tactics and qualities and characteristics that help shape and form you and your personality. You need to be nice. You need to be funny. You need to be pretty. You need to be aggressive and assertive. You need to be proactive. You need to be this. You need to be that. All of these skills and qualities that make you you were created just how to survive. If people like me, I survive. If people respect me, I survive. If people are scared of me, if people this, if I show up this way, that's how I survive. By the way, you all have been really good at surviving so far. Congratulations, well done. So that's every single moment of your life. Your entire purpose is about surviving. I would be really cruel to just end the webinar right now. But there's more. There's also another part of us that knows we're actually here for something more than just surviving. That's the human. Because if something happens to the body, and if we stop surviving, that's it, game over. We're done. But there's another part of us that knows, yeah, but we're here for something so much more. We know that we're here to enjoy life, to savor life, to step in, to explore, to discover, to create, to connect, to love, to build, to grow, to just enjoy and savor all the wonderful things that are in this world, all the magic and majesty and magnificence of life in the short time that we're here on this planet, in this vessel, in this body, with this life. As long as we live and breathe, I just have got to enjoy and get the most out of this. There's a part of us that knows we're not here to just survive. We're here to thrive. We're here to just explore and discover and create love. Now, this is what every single day of your life is actually like. Oh my goodness, watch out. This is dangerous. We have to behave a certain way. We have to protect ourselves. Oh no, wait, hold on. Life is wonderful and exciting and magical. Let's go in and let's explore it. No, it can be dangerous. We have to be careful. We have to be all things. We have to watch out. No. It's wonderful. It's great. It's exciting. It's wonderful. That is every single day of your life. This dance between careful, protect, survive, and oh, this is great and wonderful. Let's get more. Sometimes it's a lot of the wonderful and powerful. Sometimes it's really freaking out and surviving. But there's always this dance that's going on every single day of your life. Same thing with your clients, by the way. They're coming to you with their humans freaking out. That's all that it is. Now, what I'll also point to is we are all coaches. And your coach comes from this powerful place. Let's be really clear. I know this is true because there is not a single coach on the face of this earth, not you, not me, not your trainers, not any coach on the face of the earth that chose to be a coach in order to survive. It is a horrible way to survive. There are much better ways to make much better money, let's be honest. Now, granted, once we all chose to be, because we chose to be a coach because it's activating, it's exciting, it fulfills, it creates, it helps, it contributes, it's all the wonderful, it's that powerful part of us that said, you got to do this coaching thing. Now, once we stepped into coaching, then our humans jumped in and went, oh crap, how are you going to survive as a coach? You got to get clients, you got to make money, you got to this, you got to do it right, you have to, all that stuff. That's just your human jumping in and taking over. And for some reason, your human sounds like Don Knotts. I don't know why. So your coach comes from this powerful you. And in fact, that's where coaching lies. That's what coaching is all about. Coaching isn't about surviving. Coaching is all about stepping in, being empowered, being in charge, creating your life, moving forward, enjoying, savoring, loving, engaging, creating. That's what coaching is all about. Yes, we deal with the problems and the handling all the hard stuff and all that stuff. We do all of that surviving stuff with our clients from time to time in order to get to the good stuff. This is what's waiting for you, client. Let's go. That's what coaching is all about. So now, here is every moment of your coaching. This is every moment of your coaching that you have with your clients. Your coach has shown up, this powerful you, connecting, engaging, working beautifully, flowing with your client, asking wonderful, amazing, delicious questions, helping your client discover and explore and navigate. And then your client says, well, coach, so here's my problem. And your human goes, problem, hold on, I fix problems all the time. Let me do it, and kicks out the coach. That's all that happened. Your human just came in and kicked out the coach and started taking over and coaching. And your coach, your inner coach goes, oh my goodness, what just happened? And gets the human out of the way. Okay, human, go play Minecraft or something like that. And then continues back with the beautiful coaching, Wonderful sharing, wonderful engaging, evoking questions, listening deeply, beautiful trust forming. And then you get this intuitive hit that says, oh my goodness, I need to point this out to my client and it's going to make her really feeling uncomfortable. Hold on! We don't make people uncomfortable. We have to be nice. We have to be safe. We have to be careful. Play it safe. Don't ask that question. And the human jumps in and kicks out the coach. That's it. Every single time your coaching is having a struggle, you're stuck, you're lost. How do I? What should I? What's the best? Anytime you're trying to get hooked in and fix your client's problems, or you've got an impulse and you pull back from it, or whatever it is, it's not bad or wrong. It's just your human took over. And your human sucks as a coach. Your human is a horrible, bad, miserable, pathetic loser coach. Your human doesn't coach. Your coach coaches beautifully. Your coach knows exactly where to go and what questions to ask. She and he woke up in your coach training. That part of you woke up and said, you've got to get into this coaching. That part of you has been around your entire life and now has a place to, if nowhere else, hopefully elsewhere, but definitely in coaching, has a place to show up fully and engage powerfully with your clients. So that's all that's happened. So when we talk about connection, now let's pull it back. When we're talking about connecting, making sure that you are connecting to this powerful, beautiful, amazing coach that you are. Connecting to that part of you rather than the human jumping in and taking over the coaching. And even more importantly, not just because how can you connect to your client if you're not connected to yourself? Humans don't connect really well. So if your human is jumping in, it's not really much of a connection going on. But your powerful self is all about connecting. And even more importantly, connecting to the client's powerful self. Because connecting to the human, now they're constantly disconnecting because humans isolate as a way to survive. Me, all me and you, them and us and them. It's all survival. Connecting, relationship, engaging, flow. And so we connect to ourselves, our powerful selves, our inner coach, and we are connecting to the client's powerful self. The good news is all your coaching tools and skills and all of those wonderful things that you've learned, that all that they've taught you is how to connect to your client power. When you check in with their values, humans don't have values, humans have fears. Powerful selves have values. Connect to their strengths. Humans have weaknesses. Powerful selves have strengths. Humans have failures. Powerful selves own their successes and accomplishments. So all those perspective, humans know what's going to happen. Powerful selves are really kind of curious and know that there's many things that are possible. So all those coaching questions that you have are designed to talk to their powerful selves. So that kind of makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? So when we're talking about connecting, we're talking about connecting on so many levels and layers. Every single moment of your coaching, you're always either connecting or you're reaching out and inviting and creating and feeding connection and growing it. Connecting. All of that is the CO in core. It's a biggie, but it's important because when we're connected, then coaching flows beautifully. When we stop connecting for whatever reason, coaching stops instantly. We may think that we're doing still beautiful, wonderful coaching, but we're actually not because we're not connected. CO, connection. The R in core is all about revealing. It's all that we're doing in coaching. We're revealing. revealing our clients to themselves, revealing their thoughts, revealing the thoughts behind the thoughts, and then the thoughts behind that, and the ideas and the images and the memories, revealing their emotions and their feelings, and then the intensities or the types or the styles of the emotions and the flavors, and what's behind that and what's underneath that. Revealing their beliefs and assumptions and truths and knowings and all of those things, revealing what's going on in them and their predictions, revealing their their body expressions, if we know somatics and kinesiology and all of that, revealing their actions and their possibilities and the directions they can take, revealing their past in different ways and helping them see things through a different perspective, revealing the infinite possibilities that lie in their future rather than the limited predictable that's available and that's possible, that's likely going to happen, revealing all the different intricacies and intertwinings of their current life, revealing their fears and their desires and their dreams and their hopes and their habits and all of it. We're just constantly revealing everything. We're not teaching, telling, training. We're not giving our magic answer. We're not fixing their problems. We're not telling ourselves our own experience as fact. We're not assessing. We're not diagnosing. We're not interpreting. We're not doing anything but revealing constantly. Humans love to tell. Humans love to assert and offer and give all of my information as this is how it is. This is how it is. Powerful selves love exploring and discovering and going deeper and what's underneath that and what's over there. This also means that, yes, coach, you can share yourself because remember, you're connecting, you're in a relationship, so you can share your experience, what you're observing, what you're noticing, what your perspective is, what from your powerful self and your training and your skills, you have things to offer the client that they cannot access themselves. But you're not telling them as fact. Well, here's what your problem is. Oh, I see. This is what's going on. Well, clearly this is where it is, and this is what you need to know and do. But we can offer that as information to help reveal and unlock the client. It's all that we're doing. It's just every single moment revealing. The moment you find yourself stepping out of revealing and doing something else, your human just came in. That's it. So making sense, revealing, we all get that? All right. CO, connecting, R, revealing, and the E in core is all about empowering the client. Everything we do is in service of empowering. So we're going to pause this for a moment to be clear what we're talking about. When we talk about empowering, when our clients are in their human surviving mode, protect, fight, defend, make sure everything's okay, make sure everything's safe, and all that we're doing, our humans are all about this, is we're constantly trying to manage and control and manipulate and change and have power over anyone and anything outside of us, because that's what we need to survive from. I'm okay. I got me. I'm all safe. I'm safe for me. But everyone and everything out there is a potential danger. And so now I need to protect. I need to manage. I need to control. I need to have power over. Our clients are doing this all the time. Coach, how do I get my kids to stop? Coach, how do I make my team perform better? How do I this? How do I that? How do I get someone or something to change according to my wants and needs? That's it. And they're all attempting to have power over someone or something else. Well, first off, anytime somebody has power over you, that activates your own human to protect and defend, right? So anytime your client is having power over, it's either going to be taken with resentment or resisted. And it ain't going to work because nobody likes anybody having power over them. And there's also, they're giving so much attention to so much that they have no power over. Go ahead. Next time it rains, go outside and make it stop raining. Change your entire ecosystem. Change your entire workplace. We can have influence, but we cannot have power over. And that's the human dilemma and the human tragedy, is that we are so much trying to have power over almost everything outside of us that we actually have no control and power over. I mean, you get the ironic futility of our human. We're constantly trying to protect and survive by having power over someone and something, and we actually have no power over someone or something. It's exhausting. And when we do that, the greatest tragedy is that we turn away when we focus on other, and I got a power over other them, then I give up and forget the real power that I truly have, which is power of self. You have power of yourself. Your clients have power of themselves. Power of thought. You get to determine what you think about. Other people outside will try to influence or tell us what to think, but you are the only one who truly has the authority of what you choose to think about. You are the only one who gets to choose how you feel. Yes, we get affected and activated by other situations and circumstances and people. I can get angry at my wife. Ooh, you're making me angry. No, actually, the truth is she's doing her stuff for her own reasons and probably her own survival. And my reaction is to have power over her by controlling and telling her, you need to change your ways in order for me to be happy. And now I'm going to get angry at you because you're doing it wrong. Or I can think different thoughts. And I can remember that I actually love her. And I can choose to let go of that anger and step into love. You can choose your beliefs. You have power of your beliefs, what you believe to be true. I can believe that she's doing this to make me miserable and give me a bad day. I can choose to believe she's hurting and she just needs me to love her. You have power of you. How you think, what you feel, what you believe, how you show up in this world. That is all entirely within your power. And the same is true for your clients. And when they are focusing on how do I coach, how do I have power over anybody and anyone and anything else, that is impossible and futile and exhausting. And they give up their own personal power. And all that we're doing in coaching, all that we are doing in coaching is giving them back their power. We're not giving them their power, sorry, because they already have it. We're pointing them back to the power they already always possess from the day they were born, and they keep forgetting and dismissing it. And our clients are really tricky and clever. Those humans really want to come in and survive. Coach, how do I fix this? Fix my problem. Which one do you think? What do you like the best? Will this work? Is this the right one? You do it, because now that's their human manipulation of attempting to have power over you by handling their problems for them. And by the way, if you give them the answer that they're desperately looking for, and then they do it, and it gets worse, who gets the blame? You do. And where is their power? Now they get to blame you and they don't own responsibility. Wow, I did this thing and it blew up in my face and I have to be responsible and own it. Nope. It's, you told me I should stand up for myself and ask for a raise and I got fired. Coach, you ruined it. Now they get to have power over you and blame you. And they have no power, no responsibility, no authority. Now, if you tell them what to do and they do it and it works, hooray! Who gets the credit? You do. Oh, coach, thank you so much. You fixed my horrible, nasty problem. Now, here's another one that I can't do myself because I have no power. And how can you, I'm going to manage and control you to fix my problems for me. That's not coaching. So everything we do in coaching is pointing the client back to their power, even in agendas. And getting the topic. Coach, here's my big giant problem. It's messy, it's overwhelming, it's complex, it's confusing, and I can't solve it. Fix it for me. And if we're not paying attention, our humans love to fix problems. Oh, right, let's go fix this problem. Instead, as coaches, we give it back to them. Oh, you're right. This is a big, messy, confusing, overwhelming, sticky, complex, ugly problem. So what part of this do we actually focus on today? You tell me. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to work on. You tell me. And then the client goes, "Oh, actually, we're going to work on just this finger part of the problem." Oh, now fix my problem for me. Oh, you're right. This is still a pretty nasty thing here, but what part of the finger are we actually working on? Give it back to them. Oh, actually, we're going to work on the tip, says the client. Got it. Tip. And what would you like? What would you like by the end of this coaching session? Give it back to them, constantly empowering them. Oh, I want to have this by the end. Got it. And what will that look like? And how will that feel? And how will you know? And all of these wonderful coachy questions that are all designed to empower your clients and point them back to the power they possess. Wow. So what's the assignment? By the way, accountability. Some of us have gotten trained incorrectly on accountability because we certainly, clearly, our clients are having a hard time keeping to their word. They're easy to blame. They're easy to fall into habits. They're easy to make excuses. They're humans come in and take over all the time. And so we get trained, I'm going to hold my clients accountable. And then we do it inappropriately and we take away their power. Client, so you're going to go and do this homework and this action and assignment. And how will I know it's done? You probably don't quite say it that way, but that's what happens. How will I know it's done? I'm going to hold you accountable. Well, you just broke connection. You're not revealing, and you're definitely not empowering because you became the authority. And you are commanding they do it. And you are now running power over them. And you're not empowering them. We've been trained in that, some of us. Stop doing that. We still hold them accountable. We still help them with their accountability, but we do so in an empowering way. Client, how will you remember to do this? What support do you need from this? How will you stay on track? What's going to get in the way, and how will you handle that when it does? How can I support? You can be involved. You're just not dictating how it works. You're empowering them to set their own accountability. And they'll either do it, in which case they get the credit, or they won't, in which case they own the responsibility. It's not your burden to carry that they do it right or else. That's not coaching. That's something else, maybe helpful, maybe needed, maybe whatever. It's just not coaching. Coaching is all about connecting, revealing, and empowering. There's so much more about this. This is just the quick down and dirty. Trust me, in the Fast Path to Masterful Coaching, in the class that I teach, that's just the this is the first thing that I teach out of 32 classes. And everything else is all about how you connect, reveal, and empower. If you want to know more about the class, by the way, go check it out, mastermycoaching.com. There's a new class starting up in January, and all that information is there. But suffice to say, this is critical. Connect, reveal, and empower. All right, before we start applying this to the exam, and I just want to make sure this is all landing. Any questions or comments about connect, reveal, and empower before we move on? I know I just poured a whole bunch at you, but I'm seeing a lot of noddings, a lot of heads bobbing and all that, or just, maybe you're just enjoying something in your own head. Questions, comments? Yes, Marisol.
Would it be accurate? I mean, just listening to from the beginning, and when you were talking about the intellectual expression of knowledge that is required in the exam, would it be accurate to say that that's another way where, we're always talking about, to leave the consultant out of the coaching space, but then the exam is asking us exactly to bring the consultant in to fix the problems?
Yep, that's part of the problem.
Okay.
And
So
the exam is completely triggering and activating your human, because you have to do this right. If you pass the exam and you answer everything properly, then you win and you survive and you get a present. It's called your credential. And if you do it wrong, then you're going to fail and it'll be miserable and you'll be shamed and all of that horrible stuff. So you better do it right. And your human jumps in all the time to take the exam. That's it. And the consultant part of us is all about knowing and analyzing. It's not bad or wrong, it's just not coaching. That's all. Yeah, beautiful. Any other burning questions, comments, or do we just jump in and keep moving? Yes, Shapad.
Yeah, we talked about the best answer that you apply a lens of core competencies. The worst answer is is it typically violation of ethical principles which have been laid out?
Well, funny you should go there, because that's exactly it. So let's perfect. So let's go through more detail. So now, first off, before we get to the best and worst answers, here's my recommendation when you're taking the exam. Remember, first, we said that there's all this problems and traps in the case study and the story that they're giving you. So let's skip over the story. Actually skip over it and go straight to the answers first, because the answers actually are independent from the story. The answers have to do with the core competencies that are not being shown here, but that you should know. That's all that the answers are, is testing your knowledge, not of the story, but of the core competencies. So skip over the story, because the story is where we get sucked in and seduced and stuck and confused, and just look at the answers. And Shripad, we're going to go through in more detail about how to look at the answers, exactly what you're getting. But already, if we just look at the answers cleanly without the story, and which ones fit or apply or don't work with the core competencies, then we're able to identify them much more easily, and then go back and double check them through the context of the problem just to make sure it does apply. But go to the answers first And when you're looking at the answers, look at the answers through the core principles. When you do, you'll look at all 4 answers. You will, and through the core principles, connect, reveal, and empower, you will see one answer rise to the top quickly and easily. It will be so obvious. Oh my goodness. If you did this thing to your client, with your client, there would be such deep connection. Oh, there would be such partnership and intimacy and flowing and such gorgeous listening and discovery and all of that. If you did this with your client, you would be revealing and discovering and tapping into places that they're not looking or not noticing or that they're avoiding or hiding. You'll be helping them to reveal more. And if you did this with your clients, oh, it would be just, you'd be handing them back their awareness of the power that they have. You would be pointing them to their owning their full lives and being fully responsible. Flip the perspective and imagine you were the client. And if your coach did this with you, oh, this coach so gets me. Oh, this coach, like we're together in this. I'm not alone. I know I can trust this coach. This coach is hearing me and listening, and we're so in this relationship together. If your coach did this with you, oh, you know what? You would be noticing things and revealing and discovering things that might be uncomfortable, but it's okay because we're connected, and I need to know these things. I need to face these things. I need to look at these things. I need to have awareness and see what's really going on in my life. Because the more I discover, the more I learn, the more I grow, the stronger I become. And if your coach did this for you, oh, you know what? It would be easier and safer. My human would be happy if my coach just did it for me. But you know what? I know I need to be responsible to my life. And I need to own it. And I need to hold my own power of myself. That if your coach did this for you, you would feel connected, revealed, and empowered. That answer will easy to spot. Go back, go to the ICF website, or other people offer their practice exams. And now, instead of testing your intellectual knowledge, which one's the right one, just look at the answer. Even if you do the ICF website and they tell you what the answers are, you don't even get to test it. But you can now look and discover easily why it's the best answer. Oh my goodness, there is such gorgeous connecting, revealing, and empowering going on here. So if you're going for your ACC, that's all you need to worry about. And it makes assessing and identifying and discovering the best answer, the best option, so much easier. Truly, it will. And for those coaches who need to discover the worst answer, there was a brilliant coach who was keying into, oh, wait a minute, here's how you can discover the worst answer, right, Tripod? You and I know. We're going to tell the rest. Let them know. The worst, if you look through your answers, your options, through the core, yeah, you'll see one that flies to the top. Beautiful, gorgeous. There will be 2 that will be like, it's not really, I don't know, whatever. You will notice one answer plummets to the bottom. Of the 3 that are not really favorable, good ideas, one sinks really deeply because it is an absolute violation and denial of connect, reveal, and empower. If you did this to your client, you would be breaking the connection. You would be now individuals doing your own thing. You'd be calling the shots and running the show and taking charge, and now you're the authority and all of this stuff. And you might be for good intentions, but you're not connected anymore. And if you did this to your client, you would be telling them what to think, what to feel, what to believe. You would be telling them, here's what we're going to work on. You'd be telling them your own opinion, even if you're absolutely right. You're not connected, you're not in partnership, and you're just telling them and not revealing it all. And in fact, if you did this to your client, you would be claiming full authority and power. Power over your. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you right now. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what's going to happen. I'm in charge. Not we're in charge. I'm in charge. And you, client, in this moment, have no power. Flip the perspective. If your coach did this to you, oh my goodness, we're not together in this. This coach is not understanding. This coach is not getting what I'm trying to say. This coach is on their own and they're doing it for me. And they're in charge. I'm not in partnership. I certainly don't feel safe. I certainly don't feel I can trust this. I certainly don't feel like I'm being listened to. I certainly don't feel like anything. If your coach did this to you, they would be telling you what to think, what to feel, what to believe. They would be telling you their own opinion. They would be skimming on the surface and just rehashing the same old crap that you just said, and it's not going anywhere. There's no revealing going on. It's just stating blatant, obvious fact. If your coach did this to you, it might be a relief. Oh, great. I don't have to worry about this. My coach will take care of it for me. My coach is running the show. My coach is telling me what to do. It's easier. It's easier for the human. The human loves that. But deep down, I know I'm not responsible for my life. And I'm relying upon them to fix it for me. And I'm not empowered. You will notice one answer sinks to the bottom. And that is the worst option to choose. Now, to preface this by saying, this is not necessarily completely exact. You're not going to do this and get a 100%, because there's also just the variations of those who created, how they interpreted what they saw. Even though they worked this really thoroughly, it's not just one person's opinion, it's a committee created this, but there's still human error, so you're not going to get a perfect score. But this will definitely make the best and worst answers so much more easy to spot. And as I said, skip over the problem, look at the answers, connect, reveal, and empower. Got it. Here's the best one. Here's the worst one. Now double check it with the problem to make sure it does fit. But instead of going through the problem to find the answers, you're just going to the problem to double check and make sure you've already got it. Lastly, when you're taking your exam, make sure you are clear who is taking the exam, because your human will want to jump in and take that exam because you better do it right or else, and here's how you survive, and if you do it right, if you answer all the questions. And when that human jumps in, your human doesn't get coaching. Your human is all about, what's the right answer? Which one do I do? And we can start to overanalyze, and we can start to talk ourselves into circles, and we can start to hyper-focus, and we can start to then freak out. And the more that we focus on that, we lose our connection to our powerful self, which just knows the answers. So when you take your exam, if it's possible, put core right where you coach. If you're in person and the examiner, what's this core thing? It's just to remind me to do crunches and abs while I'm actually multitasking while I take this exam. That's how easy it is. I can do other things. Or if you're doing it privately, just have core, just to remind you that everything here is about connect, reveal, and empower. And when your human jumps in, reconnect back to you. this beautiful, powerful, amazing coach that you are. That is how you will pass this exam and make it easy. Absolutely. Okay. Questions, comments? We've got a little bit of time. Teresa, I've inspired you. Oh, please unmute and just share that. I love hearing rather than reading.
Well, thank you for unpacking the skill. And then, yeah, I have the motivation to do a test right now.
I know.
test whether I really got what you have just shared. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's meant to be inspiring. We forget why we stepped into this coaching in the first place so easily. And to remember, oh, boy, when you're in that coaching mode and that first experience or that taste of coaching was exciting. And we need to remember that part of us, that coaching is actually easy. Doesn't mean it's not hard, like we don't have challenges and hard things going on, but that there's this ease about it when we're doing it right. Yeah. Same thing with the exam. Thank you.
Thank you. And that leads me to another question. Are there any trial available, trial exam?
Yeah. The caution that I have about doing practice exams is that they can set up some unrealistic expectations. Well, I passed this practice exam, but that's somebody else's creation. And it may or may not mean that you will do the. So there are out there, go to the ICF website. They have sample questions with the answers already revealed. That's great. That'll make your job easier. Just look at why this is the best answer. You will see. I invite actually everybody, go and check out, because then you can kind of practice this viewing and this assessing. Oh, option 2 is the best answer. Why? Oh, because it's so gorgeously connecting, revealing, empowering. Well, they say number 1 is actually the worst answer. Why is that? Oh, because it's completely breaking connection. It's completely not revealing at all. And it's completely disempowering. I get it. So you actually don't necessarily need to do practice tests. There are others out there, and you can always do that. But definitely, if you go to the ICF website and just type in exam, you'll start to find the links that will take you to the practice. Kelly, you had a question? Can you, I missed that. Can you unmute and ask? Kelly cannot unmute and ask. All right,
now I can in. Oh, sorry, I can.
Hey.
I'm trying to limit the technology because I keep going out when I have Zooms on. So I got to figure that out. But Ben, you mentioned like what's the worst answer? Like you said, they asked you what the worst question is, answer. And you said, it's where you're trying to solve their problems and take away their power. But that first one that you mentioned, was that a hypothetical or was that a real question? Because you mentioned like 1 + 1 or 2 + 2, whatever it was. Was that a hypothetical, or was that like an actual question where?
That's not an actual question on the exam. That's just, it's an example of why we never have had to. What is 1 + 2? Well, what's the worst answer? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened in American history in 1976? Or I'm sorry, in 1776 in American history. What's the worst answer? Doesn't matter. Well, what happens when you put hydrogen and you mix it with oxygen, and what do you get? Do you get water? Do you get sand? Do you get jello? Or do you get pink fuzzy bunnies? What's the worst answer? Doesn't matter. So that's the whole point of that. Shripad, yes. Shripad, you were saying? I missed that. Something popped up.
Yeah, I just expressing my gratitude This has been a terrific session and gave me a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
Now, when I reappear for the sample test, those 10 questions, I will do it much differently.
Absolutely.
Earlier, I was doing it like a typical rational, emotional, logical human being. Now I will do it as a coach.
Yeah, get your human out of there. Your human's great at humaning. Your human is a horrible coach. Stop coaching, human. Let the coach do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Please sign up for the newsletter and the membership and the Facebook group. You're going to get the invitations. Check them out, notice them, and if you want more, definitely, I'm going to be starting to put out announcements for the January class for the Fast Path to Masterful Coaching. If you're a trained and certified coach, then you are perfectly in line for this class, and it will truly make a profound difference. As I said, MCC coaches, 20 plus year coaches, have declared this is the best thing they've ever done, and it is even MCC coaches, this has transformed how they coach. So I'm happy to stick around, but I want to also respect everybody's time. Tell other coaches I'm doing this again tomorrow afternoon. So tell other coaches they can still sign up and get all the information and join in. I'm here to help. But I'll stick around if anybody else has any other questions. Other than that, thank you all for being here. If you got to go, you got to go. Make sure you connect, reveal, and empower. But if anybody else has any other questions, I'm sticking around. Yes, Marilyn.
All right, where'd my questions go?
She's got a list. Oh,
some of them, thank you, everyone, were answered. So you said something about, a newer test.
Yeah.
I took the test once already, and I didn't pass.
Yep.
So does that mean I'll be required to take the same test, or do I take the newer test?
For ACC or PCC or MCC levels?
I took the ACC, but I could just skip to the PCC because I think I've got enough hours.
Yeah, and so that's also if I think I mentioned I also do mentoring, so I'm horrible at sending everybody links. It's all on my website or contact me directly, and you'll get all that information. But I also do mentoring to help you get through going to that next stage also. But if you choose to stay with just this is a recent redesign and change, so it kind of depends on which one they give you. So they might, when you retake it, give you the ACC exam, in which case you just have to pick the best answer, or they might re-give you the old exam, which is still around for PCC and MCC, in which case you still know what to do. Either way, you got this.
Right. Yeah. I thought, just as a little comment, I thought it was funny when I got the newsletter from them that they reduced the number of questions by 3.
Right.
I went, what? By 3? Because the reason I didn't pass is because I couldn't finish enough questions.
The 3 questions.
Right. I possibly would have passed if, by percentage easily, but I couldn't finish the test. I've since gotten a psychologist to take care of that and help me with a letter.
Yeah, but it's the time frame. I don't know why they designate this tight time frame. The only thing I can think of is to manage and make sure you're not going to go and research. Okay. So, yeah. But with core, truly, and I've worked with coaches who have failed 2, 3, 4 times.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, you're not alone, and it's because there's not clear training of how to look at the exam. So sometimes we figure it out and we get it, and otherwise we're just stumbling. You're not alone in the failing of it. It is a common experience.
Thank you.
And it's not that you're a bad or stupid or idiot, loser, moron coach. It just means all the problems that are built into the system have hijacked and taken over and gotten in the way. And your human got over.
I think so. Yeah, thank you.
So now just core the crap out of this exam, and you got it. truly, it's going to be so much easier for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. Again, tell other coaches tomorrow quickly. And if they're late, they can get it on the website or the Facebook group or whatever it is. But I'm here to help. If you're looking for more help, passing the recordings or getting your coaching to a bigger and better level, come in and reach out, ask me. I'm happy to have a complimentary call with anybody here. I'm here to help you be the coach you are here to be. And with that, ooh, there was a lovely tinkling sound. All right. Thank you all so much. We're going to thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody here. And boy, I wish you all easy, wonderful, fantastic examining. And make sure whatever you're doing, you're always connecting, revealing, and empowering. And the rest gets to be easy. All right. And this ends the recording.